Yo, what's up, my friends? Today's video is about when it's right to jump in and when you should hold off a little bit. Now, I'm going to start off by saying this. It's never the right time to jump in. It's never the right time to jump in. Sometimes you just got to jump in. You feel me? And the only person who can make you do that is yourself. A lot of the times you hear some of the best developers, app developers, business entrepreneurs, people who've created things say like if when you drop something, like when you release something, you're not a little bit embarrassed, it's too late. You gotta pre-drop it. You gotta move fast sometimes. You feel me? Sometimes you just gotta take that risk. Now then again, that doesn't mean, purposely half-assing something and then hopping into something, or not doing your research at all and just nosediving into something. It just means putting in some work and then putting it out there, not waiting too long, not trying to perfect it, but also not purposely, underperforming. Now, um, this could be for anything. And funny enough, I think it works really well with relationships. Like a lot of the times some people think like, oh, it's gotta be the perfect time. Like I can't get with this girl because I don't got the money that I wanna have. Or, sometimes people like they don't want to drop a product like an app because like it's not ready, bro. There's like so many little bugs. Like I don't want people trip like little things, you know what I'm saying? Even starting a business, oh, it's because like, you know, I don't have my played Apple Pay thing yet. Oh my gosh, I forgot to put the logos in every chair at my restaurant. Like, nah, bro. Sometimes you just gotta, you feel me? Um, the best way that I can explain this, and the best way that I learned this was when I was 20, I created my first business, which was it was really just like a trading course. But what I did, and it was profitable. I want to tell you how, because it's actually a crazy story. I worked on it for like 2 months. Well, I was thinking about it for three, but I started working on it and building the website, building the systems, like for 2 months, right? And then on my birthday, when I turned 20, like there was a big accident. I got in an accident, right? Um, I was supposed to drop it on my birthday. Now I wasn't fully ready on my birthday, but I was supposed to drop it on my birthday. But before I even dropped it, I started releasing it. Now I was making it seem like, oh, it's like who wants early access? Early access to some unmade project was what they were getting. But I just wanted to get it going. I wanted to build some momentum so that when I could publicly claim that it was released, it already had the momentum flowing. And and keep in mind, this is my first time starting a business. When that happened, it blew up. I had people joining, asking. Like I started with, so I built the momentum with about 5 people, and then by the end of the month, I had like 50 people in there. You know what I'm saying? The community had grown, and and the biggest takeaway that I learned from that wasn't like, oh, maybe I was just smart by trying to like by doing that little pre-release. And nah, the biggest takeaway that I learned was like there is never a finished product. There's never a finished product. I wasn't even fully trading. I was paper trading in my own course to try to get people to want to trade with me. Like I wasn't even there yet, but I was making it seem like I was there. I was putting it out there. I was like, guys, start joining. I just wanted to create that momentum. You feel me? And it worked. And shortly after, like I don't know if you guys believe in energy or not, but that carried me, and I had like a 30K month for the first time. With at the like I got the 30K month as soon as I officially dropped it because I had already created that momentum. Like all the energy was forward. There was no hesitating. There was no scared energy. We were just pushing forward one way or another. Now, I get that this may not be the case for everybody. And I get that businesses and relationships and careers all work differently. But what I'm trying to say is there's never a right time. As long as you feel like you've put in some work, you have the rights, and you have to allow yourself to put it out there. Allow yourself to feel like it's ready to get put out there. Because if you tell yourself like it's not ready, the only person suffering from that, the only person getting damaged from that is you and whatever you're building. Why? Because you're the only one stalling it. You're the only one giving yourself a reason not to. You can't win if you never try. You know what I mean? You just can't. And you can say you can't fail if you never try. But there's no real up or downside to failing if you never try. But there's definitely a downside to never winning if you never try. You feel me? Um, I think sometimes one of the things that I like to think about, especially when I'm about to jump into something or make a decision that I don't know if I'm ready for or not, I just like to tell myself, listen, it's gonna happen eventually, and I can either do it now and like get through this little hard block that I can kind of foresee coming, or I can just keep waiting and chip away little by little and probably miss my window of opportunity. Because that's the reality of what happens when you really wait for the perfect time. You miss your window of opportunity, whether that be with a girl, a business, a career, moving, a job. If you take too long, you're going to miss that opportunity. Somebody else is going to take that job. Somebody else will create that business model. Somebody else is going to steal that girl or that guy. Who knows? You feel me? Um, just some things to keep in mind, because that's just the reality of things. Like, you can't there's never a perfect time. You're never going to be ready 100%. You know what I'm saying? There's no clock on the wall that says now, do it now. You feel me? Just never. um Now there's special situations where like you have something happening in your life. Say you have like a wedding, or you're helping your family move, something, something that really matters kind of gets in the way. In times like those, now me personally, I usually try to find a way to at least chip away at what I'm doing or want to do, even though I have something going on. But if you feel like you absolutely cannot and you just can't, consider it a blessing. Because if you're fully blocked off from getting to where you want to be or making a jump or making a change, it's because where you are is expecting you to sit there, look around, and then make a decision. Your decision is probably not the decision you were supposed to make in that moment if you absolutely cannot make it at that very moment. That's all I got to say to that. And my advice is probably not going to be the same as, some guy who has like 30,000 businesses and scales a whole bunch of money a million times, because I'm just different. I also have a little bit of faith and spirituality in what I say. But for the most part, you always have a way to make that jump. Sometimes you just gotta do it. You feel me? You just gotta do it. Um, you could also change your mind. You could play with your mind sometimes. Like, I I've waited enough times to start something. Like, I've waited like enough times to start something to where like I've waited too long and lost the opportunity way too many times, to the point where like now, if I really want to jump into something, or I'm not sure, I'm feeling a little bit nervous, I'm putting a little bit more on the table than I usually would. I'm taking a bigger risk than I usually would. You know what I'm saying? I'm putting myself out there a little bit more than I usually would. In those types of situations, I just think of all the times that I waited, and I'm like, dang, I have a higher chance of failing the longer I wait than if I just start now and make it happen, like when I did with my first business. You feel me? I mean, that's one of my key takeaways from my experience, and I would highly suggest that, you know you guys consider that too, because it's the truth. It's the truth, and there's a reason why people say early bird gets the worm. There's people who want to plan everything out and then make a jump, and they have plan A, plan B, plan C, plan everything, right? But life doesn't care about your plans. There's also the people who jump straight in, learn along the way, get hit, get scratched by the bushes, and find a way out. But they got in there first, so they learned everything first. And those people become leaders. They start becoming trailblazers. They start helping other people find out how to get there. People start looking to them. Even though they're no different, they just started earlier. You feel me? Just consider that. There's always gonna be somebody who wants it more, who's gonna be there and do it faster than you if you wait too long. Always, always, guaranteed. There's 8 billion people on this planet. You think the world cares if you can't do it because you have a doctor's appointment and you want to wait to make sure what you're no. All right, regardless what your symptoms are, somebody's gonna make that business model. you know Regardless whether if you're moving or not, somebody's gonna try to talk to that girl. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't plan things out all the time. Things aren't gonna make sense all the time. Sometimes you just gotta make that jump. Just make that jump. That's all it is. You know, give me 1 second. I was sick for a little bit, so like I'm a little bit dehydrated. I have to keep drinking water. Now, in my newest endeavor so far, right, I've been exploring crypto. I like the blockchain. I like the whole idea of it, and I've jumped into it before, but I didn't really jump into it fully. Like I've dipped my toes in like 5 times into crypto, and then I just, because I've done the stock market. What I do, like one of my main job is basically investing. I buy and sell, buy low, sell high. I just, it's what I do. It's my whole career, my whole life is just buying low, selling high, and investing in things, right? But crypto has always been something that I'm like, that it's a little bit crazy. It's crazy. It's as volatile as it gets, especially with the meme coins. I don't know if you guys have gotten into that, heard about it. Now, I see that as a big challenge, and I see it as a huge learning curve. But that really excites me, and I didn't know if I was ready for it. But every time that I've jumped into crypto, I leverage a little bit more than I should. Not necessarily because I'm trying to like put myself under, and not necessarily because I'm overconfident. I just do it so that I can tell myself, yo, let's go. Let's try it anyways. Let's try it. If we lose, that's a lesson. And I paid for that lesson. And that's great. That's perfect. Because every lesson that I paid for in my life has paid me back. You feel me? So yeah, recently I've just been getting into crypto, but this time I'm not, dipping my feet in. I'm really getting into it. I built a whole app, website, scanner for tokens, everything for it, right? I've been working on this for like the last 2 weeks. And today I was a little bit worried because today I really wanted to actually get into a new way of trading called trenching. I don't know if you guys have heard of trenching. Now, trenching is like super fast paced, like it's like really extreme, really volatile. And today I really wanted to hop into it because I've been feeling a little bit stagnant because I had been preparing, but I hadn't really jumped into it. And I was kind of waiting for somebody to tell me like, man, you don't do it, or man, it's a little bit risky. And nobody had. You feel me? Nobody had. And it was weird because all my life I felt like people had always said like, hold off a little bit on that, just take it easy a little bit on that. But nobody had this time. And so I was like, all right, I got to make this jump. I got to throw in a good amount of money because, there's a certain amount of money you can actually work with to make money. At least if you want to do it disciplined and consistently, the way that I'm trying to start. And there's a way that, if you throw in like $40 and you just try to scale it really fast, there's a high chance of losing. That's not disciplined or responsible at all. And so, like, I was worried about throwing in the amount of money I had in mind. It was a decent amount. And I'm just sitting in my room like, maybe I gotta just wait do more business. So like maybe like starting today, whatever money I make in the next 3 days, I can throw that. Eventually, I just said, you know what? Nah, what am I doing? I'm waiting too long. I'm trying to get perfect. I'm trying to arrange the blocks around me before I put my cards out. I can't do that. You know what I'm saying? I threw it in there. And in these last 4 hours of my life, today is what? Sunday, June 26th. I've learned more about crypto and I feel way better and way more, you know, motivated, more confident in what I'm doing than what I've learned in the past 2 years that I've been playing with crypto. You feel me? And I'm not talking about I made money or anything yet. I have traded now and I have been playing with it and I have made profits. Now, the point isn't whether I'm consistently doing it right or not. The point is I started and I feel a lot better about that now. And it was the biggest block that I had in front of my eyes and now it's gone. You feel me? And if I had waited longer, who knows if I would have ever even started, to be honest. Because life can hit you in unexpected ways. Um Now the point of this message isn't really about me and my crypto. I'm just sharing my current, relation to the topic, my current endeavor that I wanted to start. Another example is 90 days. I'm doing a 90 days hard. I started it about 5, 6 days ago. And I was waiting. I was waiting for a while. I couldn't do it because I had 4 friends over staying at my apartment. They had planned this hangout for like 6 months ago. So it wasn't really something I could necessarily change because everybody had bought their tickets. Everything was set in stone. You feel me? They came, they spent the week, and during that week, all I could think about was I want to do my 90 days. I want to do my 90 days. Like I was getting like, a little bit restless because I wanted to get into it. As soon as they left, the very next day, I started it because I could. And this time, actually, the time that they spent here with me allowed me to see, process, and plan it a little bit more carefully, a little better, more with more understanding about myself and my habits than if I would have started it right before they came. Because the urge that I got to start the 90 days started before they had come to visit. But they had came a couple of days after, I got the idea and I started planning about it. And during that time, I learned a lot about myself and I gained some experience that is now helping me during these 90 days straight. It's crazy. It's crazy. But the key takeaway that I want you guys to know is just don't wait too long, man. Just take it. Just take that risk. Just take it. That girl, she's getting impatient. That job, that raise, somebody else wants it. That business idea, the people need it. Somebody's gonna come up with that solution. You gotta do it, man. You gotta do it. That house you wanna buy halfway across the world, 5 other people want it too, just as bad. But yeah, if you guys ever want to talk to me, hit me up, ask for some advice. I do this all the time. I do this all day. Just let me know. My Instagram is Emmanuel.lvx. That's Emmanuel with 2M's.lvx. Details in the bio about myself. Hope you guys have a good one. Stay posted.